Welcome to another live feed with Shaman's YouTube channel. Let's get into it. Blackmoon, top 5, underrated classic album. Let's get into it. Blackmoon, Enter the Stage. Came out in 1993. Blackmoon was the group that started the revival of East Coast hip hop way before Nas and Biggie. You can make a case that Blackmoon and Wu-Tang Clan revived East Coast hip hop back to prominence. Blackmoon was the title that stood for brothers who lyrically act, combine, kicking music out on nations. When you have a name like this, you're definitely original in your own way. Blackmoon was a three-man crew from Brooklyn, New York. Buckshot Shorty, 5 Foot, DJ Evil D of the Beatmonsters with the members of the Black Moon. The group made their debut in 1992 with their first single called Who Got the Props. The song was a hot single on the underground circuit that became a phenomenon. Check the backdrop of the early 90s. Gangsta rap was the dominant force in hip hop on the West Coast. Rap artists on the East Coast wasn't selling that many records, but maybe a few were, but there was no match for the West Coast. That is why resurgence of East Coast hip hop was needed. Who Got the Props had reached the Billboard Hot 100. Chuck Chillout helped the group get a record deal with Nervous Records. The album that would be the precursor to the revival of East Coast hip hop was this album, It's the Stage by Blackmoon in 1993. It was released on October 19th, 1993. The second single off the album was How Many MCs. Then the third song of the album was a remix of I Got You Open. You should check out the original version of that song. Then the final single off the album was the remix of Buck 'Em Down. Despite 4 hot singles off the album didn't sell. The album had 14 songs that was produced by the Beat Niners. At the album release, the group temporarily broke up. What makes this album so underrated as a classic was the production of the Meat Miners, which featured DJ O.D., Mr. Walt. Their production was different from Pete Rock, Ross Professor, DJ Premier, RZA, Diamond D, Prince Paul, Tip, and Buckwild. They used hardcore drum samples with tracks that was very dark. Now, Tribe Quest, Law and Theory was already using this style of production. The Beat Miners one-upped it with their own version of production. Overall, the album's influence has stood the test of time. Even though Into the Stage wasn't as heralded as the albums that came after their album, Into the Stage was just as groundbreaking as Illmatic, Ready to Die, Into the Wu-Tang, Alex's first album, and the infamous by Mobb Deep. Into the Stage was a tone setter and turning point on the East Coast. Blackmoon deserves they just do in terms of making an album that defined an era. Thanks for 6 people tuning in. Thanks for hitting the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. That's it for that. So that's it for look at this. Thanks for the 15 people tuning in. 2 people hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Deeply appreciate it. 7 people tuning in. Yeah, Blackmoon, that album definitely set the tone for the East Coast. Knowing Wu-Tang Clan way before 94 came about, because obviously you got to do everything in random order. So that's why I put that album in the top 5 for a reason, because of that. The number 5 underrated album of all time, I think, was Blackmoon. I think they set the tone for East Coast to be back to relevancy, because of that album that got us jump started. Now it's underrated because, again, the sound of what they were doing was different. And also you had, Wu-Tang coming out, you had Illmatic coming out the following year. Also, Into the Stage was released on Nervous Records, an independent house music label. It lacked the marketing power, distribution power. Also, they was overshadowed by what was coming out at the time. 93, a very competitive year. Snoop Dogg came up with his first album, Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. And they was truly underground, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't making any songs for the radio, as far as like going pop. Everything was underground, raw, hardcore, stuff like that. Right, so that's it for that, man. Come back a little later with another one, number 4, underrated classic album. Till then, talk to you soon.